I don't have a general topic that I'm going to discuss, but there are a few different things that I've picked up on like the past couple of days, that I've spoke with with one of my closest friends, and I've also like kind of have been pondering over and just kind of reflecting, and like I'm a very reflective person in terms of I feel like I can reflect back to somebody where they are at the moment, and then I can also reflect on just my life in general. And in the past few years, I've sort of developed just being a little bit better at just kind of understanding where I'm at, and better like a more of a better understanding of my situation. Before, I feel like I was kind of just stuck on reflecting, and being a little bit more kind of like thoughtful for myself. But just as of late, and also like through the years, I've also just been getting better at being able to become aware of not just how I'm feeling, or what I'm thinking, but what may potentially someone else be thinking or feeling, or kind of like an understanding of where they're at in terms of just life, how aware they are, or how and I don't have a great understanding, but I've just become more open and just more able to just kind of understand. Like initially, like for instance, I feel like what really cracked me open to understanding other people was really like my first ever heartbreak. Like that was just 2-3 years ago, but that situation revealed to me, just kind of like before, literally with that person that I had the heartbreak with, um, the very first time that we ever hung out, I was kind of asking them if they believe in love. Like how do like what do they think about love? Because before that person, I had been through like a few different dates, with different people, and none of it really felt enticing. None of it really felt real. It all felt very performative. It all felt like I was just kind of there, and I was just kind of there with the person, and they would just speak and say. And I've just sort of like over time, especially now, I've realized that love is not a performative thing. You don't perform. It's really natural. It's so natural that you can't help but feel, um, that you are in a state of life. Like you're so alive when you're in love with somebody. And I can't even imagine what that's like when the other person is reciprocating that back to you. That must be a whole different thing. I've yet to experience that, if I'm going to be quite honest, where I myself am feeling deep love for somebody, and then that person is feeling deep love for me. Now, another thing that I've sort of realized through this is that what if, and just what if, right? The love that I've been seeking for this entire time has really been within myself. That's something really to think about. And, you could say that, I could say that, but what does that even really mean? You know, I can sort of think in my mind, the way that it sort of plays out in my mind is like, what if all these experiences piled up, right? All the times that I felt heartbroken, all the times that I've been, especially like when I've been heartbroken, it's like, oh man, you know, the way that I have been looking out for myself, and it couldn't have been done without the support of friends. It couldn't have been done without the support of people that genuinely just reach out and are asking like, oh, how's your life? Like, how are you doing? Like, those kinds of people. I've said it before. These kinds of people in our lives are literal angels. Like thank God for those people in our lives, because if they weren't there, I wouldn't have been able to get to the point of just being able to understand how to really process heavy emotions, a heartbreak, crying, all these things. If I would have had to deal with that by myself, it would have been a very unfortunate and sad ending in my life. Like at a point where, I mean, I'm not saying that I would have contemplated, you know what I'm talking about, but who knows? We don't really know. We don't really know. But it's just genuine. Like if I would have had to deal with that all by myself, I'm sure that the conclusions that I would have came to by processing that all by myself would not have looked anywhere as near as good as the conclusions or the thoughts or just the progress that I've had with being able to have real people in my life that I can speak to and that can actually support me and make me feel like I have people who I can not just rely on, but who have my back. You know, the people that have your back are really important people. Do not let go of those people. And I swear, like, over time, I've developed, thanks to just life, like, genuinely, it's not by anything that I've done, but through these heartbreaks or through tough times, the people that have your back, that really have your back, that you can go and speak to and just tell them, and then they literally just they're like, they just show up. They just show up, and that's literally one of the best things that you can appreciate in somebody who just shows up. It's not somebody trying to like solve your problem or anything like that, because that's also performative. That's very performative. Anything that feels performative in your life, there obviously are exceptions, but anything that feels performative, when you want to have something real, stay away from those things. Stay away from those things, because that's literally a leak of energy. You know, you're giving energy to something that isn't real, that isn't. And by real, what I'm really saying is, like, it's not natural. It's not natural. Anything that isn't natural isn't really beneficial to you. It's going to take energy from you. You know, not leaking your energy is one of the best things that you could do for your peace, for your grace, like, literally. So I want to bridge this to other topics that I've written down in my notes throughout today, throughout the other days, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. And if I need to save it for a different video, I'll end up saving it for a different video. But I think just in general, for what I've spoken over in this video so far, is be beyond grateful for the people that you have in your life that look out for you, whether that be family. In my situation, my mom stands out to me deeply. You know, she made it very clear to me that as a mother figure, as my mom in my life, she's by far the first person that's going to look out for me, that would want the best for me and tell me how a situation really is, you know? And then for friends, like, literally, I have a really close friend that I'm beyond grateful for, you know? And it wasn't until the first heartbreak that I ever had a few years ago that made me realize who real friends were. Like, literally, through that heartbreak, this guy, man, he was there. He was there for me, to acknowledge me, to assure me that things were going to be okay, that, you know, people, you know, he gave me words that, you know, maybe it was just coming from like a friendly place, but genuinely it made me feel like, yeah, things are going to be okay. And over time, as I've experienced these situations, it's like, oh, I recognize the road of heartbreak. It's so familiar now that it's just like the wisdom and knowledge that I've gained from it. It's like there can never be exactly enough. I thought this is a cop car. I thought he was going to drive in here again and bother me. Thank God he didn't. But whatever. The point is, the wisdom and knowledge that I've gained. Because listen, another big thing that I want to get to is, don't be afraid to take L's. And this is another thing that I want to talk about, because I was telling my friend this last night, and I feel like it's very important. Failing is a good thing. Failing is a good thing. And I'm sure that you've heard this before, but when you experience failing, the wisdom and the knowledge that you gain from what you deem to be a failure is one of the best things to experience, because the development that you get from that is beyond something that you think that, like, experiencing something good, yeah, that's great and all, but the development and progression that you get from failing is, in my opinion, just one of the best things that you can experience. And at first, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. Failing sucks. Don't get me wrong, it does suck, but that doesn't mean that it's not a beautiful thing. Heartbreaks can be a beautiful thing. Of course, in the moment as you're experiencing them, you feel the lump in your throat, you feel the weight on your chest, you feel like you want to cry, but then you realize, wow, I've learned from this. I know, like, through the heartbreaks that I've had in my life, I've understood that the picture becomes a little bit less blurry. Over and over again, any failure that you take, overall, life just becomes a little bit more clear. just a little bit more clear. And what you're able to gain from these experiences, you can go forward and understand where you are as a man, as a person, where no matter what, like any who you are as a person, that image becomes more and more clear. That your values, integrity, what you won't take shit from anymore. Like literally, those things become more and more clear. And without the failing, you won't have an understanding of what those things are. So failing is a really good thing. Like, don't shy away from being able to experience life and then being scared of failing. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. These things we think, honestly, it's obviously not everybody that thinks that failing is bad. But genuinely, and it's not to say like to go out there and literally try everything and whatever. You'll know over time what is your calling, the things that you like, you know? But expose yourself to failing as much as you possibly can, because those things really develop you. You know, I was talking to my friend last night, and I was saying this really from a place of just trying to like look out for him and tell him like, yo, you know, because he's having an experience where, I'm not going to dive too deep, but he's pursuing something, pursuing a certain just experiences of life. And through those experiences of life have come what he deems to be L after L, like a loss after loss after loss after loss. And it's just like, man, don't you understand? Like, these losses are making the picture ever more clearer for you to understand the kind of love that you want in your life, the love that you give to yourself, the love that you would want from somebody that you would that you love, or that, you know what I'm saying, like just the kind of love that you would expect from the kind of person that you are going to allow in your life. Because genuinely, it's a beautiful thing to be able, I mean, again, I've said earlier, I've never experienced it, but it must be a beautiful thing. But regardless, this is what it's like. Again, the love for yourself aspect, and I say again as if I said it before, I didn't say it, but the love for yourself that you can have from failing over and over again is something that you can get at any point through the process. It's not something that you go out and get. It's just something that becomes built within you over taking a loss over and over again. But having your back, because some things it's just like, well, am I going to do myself the injustice of experiencing a loss and then allowing myself to get hit by that same experience or that same loss over and over again? It's like, no, you know, don't do yourself the injustice of not learning or reflecting from your experience, you know? And listen, I've mentioned it in videos before, but I think this is genuinely one of the things, and I've noticed more and more people talking about semen retention lately. Like, I don't know if it's just become like a thing that maybe it was always there, like where a lot of people have been talking about it, but generally, I mean, there's still guys I know of my age that are still just leaking their energy in that way. And it's not to shame them by any means. It's not to shame them. I'm not going to look at where someone is at life and be like, you could be doing this better, you could be doing that better. They already have that going on in their head, you know? It's, your head is going to be judging you. It's going to be playing both sides, you know? You're going to have the I am a failure kind of mindset. Like the ego, it's going to literally play both sides. The same voice that is in your head is going to be the same one that's telling you when you're doing great, when you're doing bad. You know, it's just a balance like that. That's just the way it is. But the point is that when you learn from these losses that you take in your life, you understand. And I think that the picture has even become clearer for me through semen retention. You know, like I saw this one guy from the channel Spiritual Renaissance, which is the channel that I like. Anytime he releases a video, I'm always like, I love this dude. Like, hearing what he has to say is great. You know, if I got a recommendation, go watch that guy for sure. He's way more experienced in life than I am. But I just think that, and he even has a channel dedicated specifically for semen retention. And semen retention is one of those things where it's like, yeah, you can apply the effort to refrain yourself from doing it. For me, I guess I can say I got kind of lucky, because it wasn't something that I necessarily just decided that I was going to refrain myself from doing. I just found myself in a position where I'm like, I'm just simply not doing it. And I've had temptations from I guess like just from things outside of me, like temptations from, man, I've even been tested by random people I don't even know. Like I had this random number text me, and it was like trying to get flirty or whatever. I had this Instagram account text me trying to get flirty, and it's just like I'm not gonna fold, not because I'm like, oh no, I shouldn't do this. It's like when a man has made a decision, you can't turn that man away from his decision. It's become so clear to him that this is the path that he must go on, that there is simply no going back. It has become ever so clear that this is the way to go. And there's no turning back from that. There simply isn't. I thought that car was going to turn into here. But anyways, semen retention, if you get into it, if it naturally happens to you, I think it's a great thing. Like, I think it's a great thing just naturally, just from looking back, reflecting what I've been able to learn from these heartbreaks. They become so clear in a way that they never were before. Now, am I saying that specifically happened because of semen retention? I don't have a confirmative answer to that question, like to that assumption. I can't say yes, 1000% this happened because of semen retention. I'm not going to say that because I don't have anything, like I can't factually say that. But I do think that it's possible that it played a role. It played a factor into just letting this become better for me, letting the image become a little bit less blurry, to be able to process life, to be able to understand myself, to be able to understand people, to learn to forgive, to not hold resentment, to understand that like things could be happening for a reason, and even if it's not happening for a reason, you got to learn to respect other people's decisions. Understand that nothing is personal. Understand that wherever that person is at, that's why they're doing it. They're in a position in life within themselves. They could just not be ready for something. They could be still processing, still grieving. They could be just maybe in a position where they're like, I don't know. It could be a plethora of different things, But you got to understand that they're not targeting you. They're not doing it from a place of hatred. They're not doing it from a place of, I wanted to screw this person up. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people could be doing that. But genuinely, it's not all people that are doing that. You can't be under the assumption that just because you felt like someone did you dirty, they did that intentionally. That's just how it played out, and there's no resentment to hold, that you got to have a level of understanding. But that's just something that will come naturally over time. That's the thing too. Like there's nothing that there's at least in my life, there hasn't been a single technique that I can say, this is exactly what did it for me. I practice this all the time and this keeps me grounded. It's a mixture of so many different things that has gotten me to the point of where I am at this point in my life. And what's crazy is the job isn't done. The job is not done. Nowhere near done. I don't know when it's going to be done. It could be done. I hope not. But, it could be done at any point. That's really what I'm trying to get at. It can be done at any point. What I do know is that the purpose of my life, that the story that's unfolding is not done until it is done. And I can go for the journey of enlightenment, a spiritual journey. Any journey in your life is not done until your body drops and it can't get up anymore. When whatever is animating this body is separated from this body and it's not going to return, when we pass away, however you want to word it, that's when the job is done. So that's it. Now go enjoy your life. And I really do mean that.